everybody, it's Chris from the Bass Channel, and it is that time of year again where we as musicians are about to receive a series of disappointing, albeit well-intended gifts. So if you're like me and have ever received those silly light-up picks or those drumsticks that make a variety of weird sounds when you hit them on various surfaces, this list is for you to send to your spouse, your family, or your friends. I've put together a list of my top 5 best Christmas items for bass players. So, whether you want to forward this list to your friends or you maybe received that gift card for the holidays, these are the gifts I think you should check out. So first up is probably the most obvious, strings. And I'm recommending these particular strings for 3 reasons. 1, they're Elixir, which is my favorite brand. I've been using nothing but Elixir, except for flat wounds, of course, since approximately 2004, whether it be for guitar or bass. They sound great, they're coated. You don't really feel the coating unless you're a heavy pick player, then it might start to flake off, but if you're a fingerstyle player, these last a tremendous amount of time. In fact, I had a set of Elixir stainless steel 45 to 105s on that green Fender PJ that everybody knows and loves for approximately 3 years. Now, by the end, the intonation started to get a little wacky, but you can't say that they sounded dead. Reason 2 for this particular set is these are stainless steel. Now the reason I'm recommending the stainless steel is because we get asked on the channel quite a bit, how do I get that tone? You know the tone I'm talking about. You may or may not have been someone who's asked how do I get that tone, and this is one of the key ingredients in that particular recipe. The stainless steel strings are a little bit brighter, meaning that you don't need to hit quite as hard or turn the treble up quite as high in your amp to get that bright, zinging, fresh set of strings type of tone. Plus, I'm a firm believer in I'd rather start with too much and roll it down than start with not enough and have to try to compensate later in post. So even if these are a little too bright for you out of the gate, now you have a reason to finally use the tone knob. But whether you're using the tone knob or rolling off some EQ in post, it's always easier to take off than it is to add on. But if you're like me and you like that zinging tone right out of the gate, these will definitely get you there. Another reason I'm recommending the 45 to 100 instead of the 45 to 105 is this is a new revelation to me. Again, in the quest of how to get that tone. Another part of that is hitting the strings very, very hard, like Josh does. I'm able to do it, but I'm not able to do it with any sort of stamina or any sort of finesse. So I've found that using a lighter gauge of string allows you to hit a little less hard and still get some of that string smacking the fret tone, which I've always been an advocate of. A little bit of healthy fret buzz is always welcome. Obviously, if you have too much, you're gonna need to take your bass to get checked out and set up. Okay, moving on. Number 2, the Dunlop Big Stubby. Now, I understand that this item is probably going to only appeal to at least 50% of you. However, if that's the case, you're thinking about it all wrong. Picks are not only about comfortability, preference, and style, it should ultimately come down to what the song needs. I am predominantly a pick player, but there are times when I'm recording a song where the pick doesn't quite cut it. Conversely, if I was a fingerstyle player, there may or may not be a song that comes up across my desk that requires the zing and the precision of a pick. Now, the reason I'm recommending the Big Stubbies, again, is a few different reasons combined into one. First off, they come in a variety of sizes, 1mm, 2mm, and 3mm. People often think that heavy equals bass pick, but that's not necessarily the case because I am a fan of the Dunlop Ultex 73. Sometimes I'll switch it to a 1mm. Just kind of, again, depends on the style of the song, the vibe that I need, and how tired my hand is. But aside from the thickness, there is another tonal quality about these picks that I'd like to take a minute to explain to you. So that's the sound of the ever classic, ever famous green .88mm Jim Dunlop Tortex. I was having a conversation recently with Will, and he was basically saying one of the reasons that he doesn't like using a pick is this right here. You can't quite see my hand, but that pick scrape that you get. Now, you can alleviate that by changing your technique, but I'm not really ready to do that quite yet. I'm really comfortable playing with the pick at a slight angle, so up until now I've been putting up with the dreaded pick scrape. However, with these big stubby picks, they're quite bulbous and the edges are a little bit rounded off. So as you can hear, My bass might be a little out of tune, but we're going to get to that in just a minute. As you can hear, the pick scrape has been significantly alleviated because the edge on these is not quite as hard or as sharp of an angle. So you might get a little more of that attack noise, which will give you that kind of bright pick sound, but you don't get the scrape. So if the scrape of a traditional pick has put you off to picks, these would definitely be worth a shot. This particular is the 2mm. I'm going to go through the 1, 2, and 3 to see if there's really much of a difference in sound. Obviously, there's going to be a difference in feel, but let's go up the sizes and see if we can hear any difference. So a little bit of tonal difference there. Obviously, the heavier picks are going to have an easier time moving the strings. And like I mentioned a minute ago, my revelation on the lighter strings, this is the Elixir nickel-plated 40 to 95. So it really does not take a lot of energy to get that E string moving. So the other tonal difference that I heard going up the gauge is that the thicker pick has a little bit more of a glassy attack on the string. I'm not sure how well that's coming through in the recording, but definitely I can hear it and feel it in the room. And next up on the list is the TC Electronic Polytune. Now, whether you want the pedal tuner or the clip-on tuner, I have to say this is my favorite tuner on the market. Now, I'll be completely honest, that's not necessarily because it performs any better than any other tuner. In fact, the polytune nature of it that's designed for the 6-string guitar kind of gets in the way on bass because of the amount of harmonics coming off the single string, so you're definitely going to need to adjust the settings to be a, for lack of a better word, mono-tuner, traditional type of tuner. The thing that I like about the Polytune, whether it be the pedal or the clip, we're going to kind of dive in a little bit to each of them. We'll start with the pedal. Obviously, you know, putting it up against something like the Boss TU3, like I said, it's not going to tune any better. I prefer the display on this. I like the strobe tuner. And then with the Polytune 3, obviously this is the mini, it takes up less real estate on the pedal board, and it comes with a built-in buffer. Now, if you're not familiar on the merits of a buffer, I know I probably shouldn't be directing you away from our channel, but Colin from CS Guitars has a great video, whichever side it's on. I'm backwards to me, so I don't know, but it's up there. Colin has a great video on the merits of using a buffer in a longer signal chain, whether it be a longer cable or multiple true bypass pedals, whether it be a compressor or a reverb or whatever you might have. Using a buffer in the front has plenty of upsides, and I highly recommend using one. So that's an added bonus of the Polytune 3 Mini. As far as the clip goes, again, it's got that great display that to me is really pleasing on the eyes. I like the strobe tuner. Again, it doesn't outperform any tuners, but it certainly doesn't do a bad job. I've been using these for the last, I'd say 5 years. At one point, I bought 3 of them just to have around the various studios that we do, whether it's here in Vegas or out in Oxnard, California, or wherever it might be. I always have one of these on me. I've used the pedal board Polytune 2. I haven't used the 3 yet, but either way, I've been using them for quite a few years and they have never let me down, so I'd highly recommend at least checking out the TC Electronic Polytune pedal or clip. And number 4 on the list is the Seymour Duncan Studio Bass Compressor. Now, I can tell you that this is the compressor that we pretty much all officially endorse. I know Will has one, Nick has one, and this is technically a loaner, but now I have one because I'm gonna buy this or keep this or figure out a way to stick that in the old pocket. And another thing that I didn't realize until pulling this one out of the box is they've updated the face. It didn't necessarily look bad before, but now it looks ultra sleek. Whoa, this is news to me. They've updated the face. Cool, I like it even better. The attack knob now indicates how many milliseconds for your attack. Everything just looks streamlined, and the logo at the bottom is a nice touch as well. So the obvious downside to this compressor is the fact that there's no gain reduction indicator, but I have found that the tones inside of this pedal are fantastic. Now, to be fair, I haven't used every compressor on the market. I've used enough to know kind of what I like and what I don't like, and I can tell you, I love this one. And like I said, I'm not the only one. Nick loves it, Will loves it. Hopefully if you get one, you'll love it too. So what we're gonna do right now is just let's go back to the video that we made a handful of years ago, just to pull out a couple select tones. In case you haven't seen it, you can get an idea of what the pedal sounds like. Now, obviously, the number one job of a compressor is to help tame your dynamics by bringing your peaks down and your quiet notes up. But this one also has a couple tone shaping features, complements of this handy little switch. So whether you want more of a mid-present tone or a high roll-off, or you just want all of your frequencies to shine through, this little switch will get you there. And the last item on our list may or may not be the most polarizing. It is the Soundbrenner Core Steel smartwatch and vibrating metronome. I'm not really much of a jewelry or accessory kind of person. In fact, I was originally reluctant to get married because I'd have to wear a ring. But luckily I found a silicone one, so it proved not to be a big deal. But as far as watches, bracelets, necklaces, earrings, it just doesn't suit me. But if you're a watch person, then I think there's some really cool features to be had in this particular watch. First up, it's a standard watch. So I can tell you that it is currently 2:53 p.m., Monday, December 7th. I don't know when this video is going to air, but you'll be watching it sometime in the future. Now, if I move over here, I can go to the metronome, and I'm currently set at 110 BPM, 4/4 quarter notes, double tap, and we are metronoming. Now, I will say it is a little weird to get used to a metronome that you feel rather than one you hear. It's also even a little more weird to have it on your wrist since that's kind of what's moving. But they do include a strap that you can, I think it's the body strap, but you can put it on your arm, on your chest, on your leg, wherever you want to put it to help yourself kind of feel that pulse. But once you get used to it, or if you're practicing silently or something and you don't have headphones, once you get used to it, it's actually a pretty cool way to keep time. You can change the tempo, the time signature, or the intensity of the pulses, either from the face of the watch or with the free app. Also in the box, you get a couple different straps, like I mentioned, for the chest or the bicep or wherever you want to put this thing. They give you some earplugs. They give you... Oh, this is pretty cool. So there's also a built-in tuner. Again, I know I just kind of recommended the hell out of the polytune. But there's a... Is this magnetic? Okay, yeah, I haven't put this on there because this is a loaner product, although I did wear this for a couple days, so we'll see how the return goes on that. But yeah, a magnetic tuner attachment so you can tune your bass and get it directly from the watch face. You've also got a decibel meter, so when your landlord says it's too loud, you can shove it in his face and say, no, it's not. You've also got a timer, like a stopwatch, which is pretty cool. Timer and stopwatch. My mistake. And that is about it. The other cool thing is you can actually sync this via Bluetooth to your phone. So whether you get text messages or your Tinder notifications or whatever you might have, they'll show up on the watch. It'll give you a nice little vibration, and you can see who's trying to contact you, or maybe who's at your front door if you have one of those smart doorbells like I do. Either way, it's a pretty cool product. Again, I'm not much of a watch guy, but you get either a silicone. We learned that a while back. Silicon is the element in fuzzes, and silicone is the watch material. Either way, silicone strap or a leather strap, and I gotta say, like I said, I wore the watch for a couple days just to get a feel for it, or a vibe for it, if you will. The leather strap is quite comfortable, and for someone who's not a watch person, I could see this looking pretty sleek on someone who is, maybe who's got a better body type for it, I don't know. But either way, that is my list of my top 5 Christmas gifts for bass players. So again, whether you want to send this to your spouse, to your mom, no judgment, or any of your friends, or if you get the gift card and you want to go splurge on yourself at your local music store, these are the gifts that I think would be the best. Now, of course, it helps us out if you get any or all of these items from Zounds. Obviously, you're free to shop however you want. But if you'd like to support the channel without really having to give anything extra, it would help us out if you'd follow the link down below and get any of these products or any product that you want from Zounds.com. They've been really cool to us in the past. I've gotten this bass, this Warwick bass down here, and of course all of these products on loan to show you guys. So again, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and if you're atheist, Happy December 25th to you. Hopefully you found this list helpful and maybe got some ideas of some gear you'd like to check out. So, until next time, I'm Chris from the Bass Channel, and I'll see you next week.